The rain fell in sheets that night, turning the city streets into rivers of black glass. Most people hurried past, umbrellas bent against the wind, eager to reach the warmth of their homes. But Marcus Aldridge wasn't most people. As he stepped out of his Tesla, adjusting his Italian suit jacket against the downpour, he heard it. A sound that pierced through the storm like a knife through silk. Someone was crying. He should have kept walking. He had a conference call with Tokyo in an hour, and his 7-year-old daughter Emma was waiting at home with the nanny. But something in that cry, raw, desperate, utterly broken, rooted him to the spot. Marcus had built his fortune on instinct, on knowing when to listen to that voice inside that whispered when others were silent. Tonight, that voice was screaming. He found her huddled against the brick wall of a closed bookstore, her wheelchair tipped slightly on its side, one wheel spinning uselessly in a puddle. She couldn't have been more than 19 or 20, her thin frame trembling violently beneath a soaked jean jacket that offered no protection from the October cold. Her dark hair plastered to her face, and her hands, delicate, pale hands, covered her eyes as sobs racked her body. "Miss?" Marcus approached slowly, crouching down despite the water soaking through his $1,000 trousers. "Are you hurt?" She flinched, pulling back against the wall, and for a moment he saw it and the fear that lived in people who'd been failed too many times. Her eyes, when they finally met his, were the color of storm clouds, swimming with tears and something deeper, hopelessness. "Please," she whispered, her voice hoarse. "Just leave me alone." But Marcus saw the blue tint to her lips, the way her whole body shook with hypothermia setting in. He saw the empty wallet on the ground beside her, the contents scattered by the wind. And he saw something else, a hospital bracelet on her wrist. "Still fresh with today's date? I'm Marcus," he said gently, "and I can't leave you out here. You're freezing. Let me help." "Why?" The question came out broken. "Why would you help me? You don't even know me." It was a fair question. Marcus was known in business circles as tough, calculating, someone who didn't make moves without considering all angles. But right now, looking at this young woman who seemed to embody every cruelty the world could offer, he only knew one thing. His daughter, Emma, had taught him that some decisions weren't made in the head. They were made in the heart. "Because it's raining," he said simply, "and you're crying, and neither of those things should happen to anyone alone." Her name was Sophie, and she told him her story in fragments. During the drive to his brownstone in Brooklyn Heights, she'd been in a car accident 2 years ago, a drunk driver. A moment of impact that changed everything. Her parents had done their best, but medical bills had crushed them. They'd lost their home 6 months ago. Her father had found work in Texas and promised to send for her soon, but soon kept getting postponed. She'd been staying in a shelter, trying to finish her online college degree between shifts at a call center that had just let her go for missing too many days. The hospital visit today was because her wheelchair had broken, and she'd fallen. The bruises were free. The x-rays were not. "My wallet was stolen while I was waiting for the bus," she said, staring out the window as Manhattan's lights blurred past. "I don't even know why I'm telling you this. You probably think I'm just another person with a sob story." Marcus glanced at her in the rearview mirror. "I think you're someone who's been carrying too much for too long." Emma was waiting at the door when they arrived, her blonde curls bouncing as she peered around Marcus to see their unexpected guest. His daughter had been born with a heart condition that required surgery at age 3, and it had taught her something profound about suffering. It made you kinder, not harder. "Dad, she's all wet." Emma's eyes went wide with concern. "We need towels!" "And hot chocolate." "And—" she gasped. "Can she use my room?" "My bed is really warm." Over the next 2 hours, Sophie transformed. Warm clothes borrowed from Marcus's late wife's closet. He'd kept them, unable to let go even after 3 years. Hot soup that brought color back to her cheeks. And Emma, who'd appointed herself official caretaker, chattering about her school, her friends, her collection of minerals, asking Sophie questions with genuine curiosity rather than pity. Marcus watched from the kitchen doorway as his daughter showed Sophie her favorite books, and something in his chest tightened. How many people had walked past Sophie tonight? How many had seen her suffering and chosen comfort over compassion? "She can't go back out there," The words came from Maria, the nanny who'd been with them since Emma was born. She stood beside Marcus, her eyes fierce. "Mr. Aldridge, I know it's not my place, but—" "You're right," Marcus said quietly. "She can't." The conversation that night, after Emma had finally gone to bed, was one of the hardest Marcus had ever had. Sophie sat in the living room, her borrowed clothes drowning her thin frame, her eyes distant. "I can't stay here," she said before he could speak. "I appreciate everything you've done, really, but you don't owe me anything. Tomorrow I'll figure something out. What if I made you an offer?" Marcus settled into the chair across from her. "I need help. Emma needs help. Since my wife died, I've been trying to balance everything, work, parenting, being present. I'm failing more than I'm succeeding." Sophie's brow furrowed. "I don't understand. I'm offering you a job. Live-in companion for Emma. Someone who can help with homework. Be there when she gets home from school. Be another caring adult in her life. The guest house out back is fully accessible. I had it renovated when my mother was ill. Room, board, health insurance, and a salary that will let you finish your degree." "Why?" That question again, but this time with wonder instead of suspicion. Marcus thought about how to answer. He could tell her about his own childhood, about a teacher who'd believed in him when no one else did, who'd paid for his SAT prep course and college application fees. He could talk about his wife, who'd spent her last months creating a foundation to help families with disabled children. He could mention the guilt he carried for having so much when others had so little. Instead, he said, "Because Emma's been asking me what it means to be rich." And I realized she didn't mean money. She meant rich in the ways that matter, rich in kindness, in purpose, in making someone's dark day a little brighter. "Tonight you gave me the chance to show her." Sophie's eyes filled with tears. But these were different from the ones he'd seen in the rain. "I don't know what to say." "Say you'll stay, at least for a while. Let us help you the way so many people helped me get where I am." 3 months later, Marcus stood at his office window overlooking Manhattan, his phone in his hand, smiling at the video Emma had just sent. It showed Sophie teaching his daughter to paint, both of them laughing as more paint ended up on their faces than the canvas. Sophie was taking 2 online classes now. Her face had filled out and her smile came easier. But the real transformation was in Emma. She'd become more confident, more aware of the world beyond her privileged existence. Just yesterday, she'd asked to donate half her birthday money to the homeless shelter where Sophie had stayed. "Because everyone deserves a warm bed," she'd said with the simple certainty of a child who'd learned what truly mattered. Marcus's phone buzzed with a text from Sophie. "Emma got an A on her science project. Also, dinner's ready when you get home." Home, such a simple word, but it meant something different now. It wasn't just a place. It was the people who filled it. The love that warmed it, the second chances that graced it. He'd gone out that rainy night to get documents from the office. Instead, he'd found something more valuable than any contract or deal. He'd found the reminder that wealth wasn't measured in bank accounts, but in the lives you touched, the hands you lifted, the moments when you chose compassion over convenience. As he packed his briefcase to head home, Marcus thought about all the people still out there in the rain, crying and alone. He couldn't save everyone, but Sophie had taught him something profound. You don't have to save everyone. You just have to stop for the one person in front of you. And sometimes, in the beautiful irony of the universe, when you reach down to lift someone else up, you discover they've been lifting you all along. The rain had stopped hours ago, but its lesson remained. Kindness, real kindness, wasn't about grand gestures or charity galas. It was about seeing someone's humanity when everyone else saw only inconvenience. It was about saying, "Come with me," when the world said, "Walk away."